Hello everyone, my group and I are here to give you an understanding on how the historical roots of Japan and South Korea have given way to contemporary and future national economic and enterprise commercial development. Introduction. Japan and South Korea are similar in many ways yet have key differences. Whitley 1991 states that business systems are socially and institutionally embedded in the Asia-Pacific region. Knoll et al. 2016 says that post-globalization corporate governance in Korea led to changes in areas such as financial structure and board independence through mandating certain laws, whereas in Japan corporate governance reform led to laws that increase the flexibility of firms to choose their own corporate governance systems. The technological innovations, significance of human resource management, effects of regionalism, degree of family involvement in businesses, and the importance given to sustainable practices will be discussed through this comparative analysis. Background. Japan is the most developed and the second largest economy in Asia. Japan was the first Asian country to start industrialization and were good at adapting to innovation rather than being the most innovative nation, which helped them have a major impact on businesses globally. The modern economic development of Japan began around the second half of the 19th century, where features of Japanese society were blended with Western practices to create its own unique way of doing things. Korea, however, was a self-sustaining kingdom with its bureaucracy, monarch, social structure, and public institutions until the Cold War in the 20th century. Korea too developed a unique way of life, language, customs, and family systems due to living in isolation. Historical perspective. Under the Buddhist tutelage, Japan became substantially Chinese in religion and political institution. Books Review 2019 states that firearms and Christianity were introduced to Japan during the Muromachi period. The first railway line was introduced and Tokyo became the capital of Japan during the Meiji period. Japan surrendered during the Second World War after atomic bombs were dropped over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Post-war, the industries and transportation networks were severely damaged. Japan joined the United Nations in 1956 and normalized relations with China. As per BBC News 2018, Buddhism existed in South Korea since the mid-700s. Catholicism was introduced in 1780s and 130 Christians were killed in the 1860 religious persecution. Korea fell under Japan's control in 1905 and in the 1900s Korea gained independence and communists began to dominate politics. United Nations recognized the Republic of Korea in 1948.
When it comes to meaning and rationale, Japanese companies focus more on employees and social well-being than shareholder value. While Korean firms initially focused on shareholder value, they are gradually shifting towards social well-being as Koreans have started to believe that companies which bear social responsibility will grow in the future. As in Fukuda 1986, Japanese are collectivist in nature and require consensus to arrive at decisions. When it comes to identity, as in Wale 2000, the collectivist nature of the Japanese has resulted in the concept of harmony. Korea is relatively less collectivist in nature, but respect towards the feelings and opinions of others is present. Trust is institutional in Japan, but ascriptive in South Korea. Japanese and Koreans have high context communication where opinions are not expressed clearly. Koreans rely on eye contact and body language to communicate. When it comes to authority, Kim et al. 2019 asserts that both Japan and Korea are hierarchical in nature. The Japanese obey elders without opposition. Whiteley 1991 asserts that personal authority and owner domination is high in South Korea and low in Japan. Future. As in Kalensi et al. 2020, South Korea is dominating Japan in technological areas such as electronics. Korean pop culture is dominating the international market and is superior to Japan, as Japanese pop culture is only limited to Japan. Post-pandemic education systems have improved in both countries, especially online education. Both countries have realized the importance of the application of AI technology and cloud computing to education.
Hello, I'm Tharaka Gurulumulla. I'm going to explain economic development of Korea and Japan based on order including financial, human and social capital in system theory. When talk about financial capital of both countries, Japanese banks divided into large size commercial banks and regional micro institutions. Small medium-sized banks consist of commercial regional banks and non-profit cooperatives called Shinkin banks. According to Jones and Lee, South Korean economy and financial practices are controlled by the government. Also, major investments by the private sectors are initiated by the government. Korean financial sector is not as competitive as the manufacturing sector. The majority of South Korean small and medium-sized enterprises face a labor shortage because workers are reluctant to work due to poor working conditions. Japan has higher employment rate while Korea has higher unemployment levels due to skills gap of workers. Social trust has increased in South Korea within the period between the years 2016 and 20. But trust in the government have also decreased due to COVID-19 pandemic. Usually, Koreans have limited trust in general institutions like police and legal system. According to Tokuda, the trust level in Japan is lower than Korea. Japanese government improving strategies to reduce teacher workload and investing in leadership development, while South Korea facilitate updated technological equipment and training program for employees. Japan has powerful monetary foundations. According to reports of Bank of Japan, they further developed their monetary advocacy after the global financial crisis caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Bank of Korea revealed that South Korea enhanced the financial innovations and infrastructures to improve monetary policy and financial stability. For example, fintech and big tech firms are providing financial services to develop the future financial market. Thank you.
When discussing coordination and the ownership factor, most of the Korean firms are family owned and the chaebol system is centralized, while in Japan, family owned businesses are more common and Kyutsu system is decentralized. Moving on to the network factor, in South Korea, business connections with clients are based on mutual exchange, trust, which is also associated with superior financial performance. 25% of the FDIs in Japan is held by US, followed by the countries such as Netherlands, France, UK, Singapore. When talking about management, Japan has a very sensitive managerial style while Korea is more directive. South Korea has a very high power distance society that subordinate follow superior orders accordingly, and employee commitment is very conditional. Japan has a top-down management and by which employee commitment is very emotional. In future aspect, both countries have contributed immensely to avoid spreading COVID-19. According to the survey evaluations done between the countries shows that Japanese appear to be less happy with their government strategies while Korean reactions were quite impressive as most of the residents were happy with the government actions that took place towards the pandemic. In conclusion, both the countries engage in non-verbal and high-context communication where they are more concerned about personal relationships. Japanese firms are more concerned about their employees than the shareholder value, while Koreans are vice versa. Currently, they are also moving towards focusing on society. Shinkin banks fund the Japanese enterprises and Korean SMEs are sponsored and governed by the government. Large conglomerates known as chaebols dominate the economy. Korea has the highest social trust than Japan and both the countries involve family ties in their businesses. From all of the above discussed, it is proven that both Japan and South Korea have developed distinct identities and have a remarkable global influence through their respective industries.